This is Beretta Bobcat 21a 22 long rifle versus Ruger LCP 2 22 long rifle. A comparison. Let's hit the range. Here is target view, since I don't think that showed up very well on camera. And now the LCP 2. Comparing the numbers on these guns, you'll find they're very similar in size. The Bobcat is 4.9 inches long, 3.7 inches high, 1.1 inches wide, and weighs in at 11.5 ounces. The LCP2 is 5.2 inches long, 4 inches high, 0.81 inches wide, and weighs in at 11.2 ounces. Now, since we have the magazines on screen, I might as well talk about those. Bobcat comes with one 8-round magazine. LCP comes with one 10-round magazine. These are actually very similar in size. I think the Ruger's magazine is maybe 1 to 1.5 millimeters wider. And I think the difference in capacity might even be due, besides that weight difference, I think there's a little longer follower in the Bobcat. But I need to take the Ruger one apart to know for sure on that. Now, both guns do have a thumb safety on them. The controls are on the left side of the frame on each gun. You have a thumb safety. There is also a magazine release, though that is not at all in the same position on each gun. Now, the Ruger also has a slide release. It will do a lock open on empty that the Beretta does not do. However, the Beretta has that tip open barrel. Now, both guns are hammer-fired guns. However, the Ruger would be a single-action only internal hammer-fired gun, whereas the Beretta is a single-action, double-action hammer-fired pocket pistol. Now, it does have a long double-action trigger, so you could carry this with the hammer down and have that long double-action trigger being your safety on the gun, or you could carry it with the hammer back and the safety on if that's your preference. I'm going to show you some of the comparison shots here before we get into the differences. Here's the Bobcat on top of the LCP. Next, we're going to show you the LCP on top of the Bobcat. As you can see, they're just very subtle differences in their size. Both pocket guns, and I would say pretty much equally concealable. Now, here's the rear view. In my opinion, the Beretta has a slightly bigger grip in terms of the width, though it is a little shorter grip. I don't know if you can get any finger extensions for that. And here's the top-down view, very similar in size from the top-down view. I don't know what was there, maybe 0.2 of an inch difference in width or something like that. Not much. Alright, how about a little more range time, and I'll pepper in some videos while we talk about it and I shoot. Now, one area these guns are very similar is they both have low-profile, frame-integrated sights on them. I'd say they're for maximum concealability. You wouldn't really think of them as a target sight. I mean, really not at all. Though, surprisingly, even though I'm not a fan of them, I can hit targets out at ranges I would not expect. So I guess, they're more than adequate for that gun. Now, a lot of that accuracy probably has to do with the fact that it's a, 22 pistol with a pretty good barrel, a decent enough trigger, and sights that are just enough there to help you get pointed at what you're aiming at. To where, all those combined things I think help make it more accurate than any one of those things by itself. Now, in some of the clips you're going to see coming up, I had some camera footage problems, so I just have maybe footage of the targets, we'll say. Those are shooting the Bobcat. Now, another area that we should mention right off the bat as far as these two guns go in a comparison is reliability. Now, I'd say at this point I probably have the same volume of rounds through the guns approximately, though I don't have near the same variety of ammo through the LCP yet to where I want to comment, to where I'd say I'm comfortable commenting on its reliability across ammo brands. It likes CCI mini-mags, I can tell you that. Now, with that in mind, in the last video I did where I compared the Bobcat to the LCP Max, I mentioned that it's ammo picky, and I am going to stand by that. Though I am also going to say that in shooting the comparisons against the LCP-22, I did use CCI mini-mags in the gun, which I couldn't get through most of the COVID so far. And actually that ammo seems to work very well with this Bobcat thus far. I've been very happy with its reliability and performance in that regard. Now I often will say these guns have no recoil, and that's not really true. They do have a recoil impulse. It's just very minor and such that when you're shooting them against something else, you don't really notice it. Now the recoil between them, it is minor, and I would say there is a difference, but it's difference in how it feels, not that one is worse than the other. And a lot of that probably has to do to things like the fixed barrel on the LCP, or excuse me, the fixed barrel on the Beretta, along with, say, the more cutouts on the slide, compared to the mass of the slide and the cam design of the LCP2, we'll say. The easy rack ability of the LCP2 I think is very nice. That's a hard feature to compete with, but I think the Beretta actually does a pretty decent job. If you factor in the convenience of that pop-up barrel and how useful it is in terms of loading and unloading the gun, in an ideal world, if you didn't have to worry about rimfire failures, that pop-up barrel would probably win in convenience in my book. Now, about the only area that I could knock these guns, outside of, say, the potential irreliable nature of a rimfire round, is the magazines for both are expensive if you want second, third, fourth, whatever, more than one magazine. I think they're $40 or more, which is, that's pretty terrible for any magazine in my opinion, but especially a 22 rimfire magazine that a lot of people are going to consider a for fun plinking gun. Plenty of people are going to buy these guns as carry guns. Now this channel is not going to wade into the debate on whether 22 long rifle is good enough as a carry round, though I will say we will be doing some chronograph and meat target tests with various ammo through these guns to see if there is a performance difference in that regard between them. Now here you can see one of the failures we had with the Bobcat, failure to feed, cleared, kept on shooting, just sort of the nature of the beast with 22 rimfire. Certainly had that problem a couple of times with the LCP2 using the Federal Punch ammo, which I showed in one of the other videos previously. Now, I would like to think if someone is choosing to carry a 22 or other rimfire round as their carry round, they're aware of the potential failures, they've made a conscious choice to accept that for whatever reason, and they are ready for those failures if it might happen. Now, the easy rack nature of the LCP Max probably makes it a little easier to clear most failures in that regard, though the one area where the Bobcat probably has an edge is if you just have a failure to ignite where your firing pin strike does not set off your primer. With that being a double action pistol, you could pull the trigger again and see if a second primer strike would set that off, in which case, if it does, you're back in action. Now, that's probably a glass half full take on it, but hey, it is what it is, as they like to say. Now, I consider accuracy between these guns a wash. At the distances you're likely to shoot them, you're not going to notice a difference. And I've been able to hit targets at 25 and 50 yards, which is, that's good for any handgun for me. The reliability question remains to be answered. If I had as many different types of ammo through the LCP Max, it would be the more reliable one. However, I have not tried nearly the variety of ammo through it, so I'm not prepared to make that statement yet. The LCP Max does have the capacity edge at 10+1 versus 7+1. Now, some people are probably going to be drawn to the aluminum alloy frame of the Bobcat, whereas the LCP Max has the glass pack nylon frame. With both guns being, 3/10 of an ounce difference between them, I think they're both light enough to where that's really not going to make a difference. I think the question of which I prefer more is a very tough question to answer. When I have CCI mini-mags, for example, I'm not sure. Some days the extra capacity and the easy rack of the LCP2 I'm going to prefer, and on other days I like the single action, double action nature and the tip-up barrel of that Beretta Bobcat. It really depends day to day for me on that one. Now, this is why I think it'll really come down to which one is just more reliable with the ammo, and that's a question that we're going to answer in the coming weeks and months as time goes by and we put more ammo through the LCP2. So with that being said, I'll circle back to what I've said before. If you have the ammo they like, I think both these guns are actually very good choices as a pocket 22 pistol. Now, as always, I hope you found the information in this comparison useful. Thanks for watching and have a good day.